Welcome to the Hudson Valley Disc Golf Podcast. This week we've got Alex, Corey, Randy, Evan, and Jaimen. Tim will probably be on soon. No Jason tonight, but he did send a rules question. I'll ask you guys later. Our guest tonight has been a PDGA member since 2020, has 40 career PDGA events played, and has earned $33 more than me in his entire career. Thank you for joining us, Nick Warren.
Thanks for having me, Pat.
So how did you first discover disc golf?
Well, we have a good friend of mine that had been playing for a while, like not competitive at all, but my wife was like watching his dog and he was like, well, you want to go disc golfing? We could take the dog for a walk. And he ends up taking my wife disc golfing and she was like, oh, Nick would love this, blah, blah, blah. And sure as shit, I did in fact love it. And I think she regrets ever showing me that disc golf was a thing.
Where do you live? It says Lake Katrina on your PDGA profile.
Yeah, so that's like in between Kingston and Saugerties, kind of Woodstock area, I guess, if you're not familiar with that part of the Hudson Valley. But in relation to Wilcox, I'm about 30 minutes to Wilcox, about 35, 40 minutes north to JPark, and all the other surroundings. It's like Beacon is about 40 minutes from me too, and there's a bunch of great courses all around that I can just travel to that's all within an hour.
But you would say Wilcox is your home course?
Yeah, definitely Wilcox is my home course. It's just super easy. Lake Katrina is right next to the Rhinecliff Bridge. So you just hop on and shoot across and you're basically right to Wilcox anyway. So it's definitely my home course. I don't know. I have to look at my U-Disc, but I think I've played it something in the realm of like 200 times. Yeah.
Not including the rounds that got deleted because you had bad signal, right?
True. The cheat code is AT&T. I actually happen to have pretty good signal everywhere besides Tournament Central is usually the worst spot for signal. So I don't understand why everyone continues to have Tournament Central at that pavilion, but
Your wife introduced it through a friend. Where did you play it at first?
the first time I played was at Wilcox. I threw a couple discs in my yard. I have a pretty big yard. So like I was just like practicing, figuring this out, figuring that out. And we were like, let's go play around. So we went to Wilcox because they knew about Wilcox and had been there before. I think I was shooting pretty good, for being the first time in an actual round. And I ended up birdieing hole 7, which is like the short downhill, like levels, just a pretty easy hyzer backhand. And I somehow magically skipped right underneath the basket. I still have the picture somewhere, but yeah, after that, I think I was hooked for good. I was like, this is really, really cool.
Early on, I found you only need one really nice shot in a round that will really hook you. Even it could be a second shot, a first shot.
Yeah, it doesn't even
whatever.
have to be a birdie at all. Any kind of cool shot that you think looks good or felt good, absolutely.
Somebody else's good shot.
Yeah, that too, right?
Do you remember your first disc that you either bought or that was given to you?
Oh, it was pretty close to like the beginner Innova pack. It was like a destroyer. I don't remember. It had the AVR and something else in there. And just determining throwing in my yard, I could not throw a destroyer. So I didn't even attempt to throw a destroyer. So I think my buddy had like a trespass or something like that. That was like the true first disc that I really, really liked. But I don't even throw them anymore. So I can't say that that's for sure the one that I really liked.
What do you throw now mostly?
My bag consists of Innova made Discmania for the most part. So older Innova plastic, very overstable bag. If you grabbed my bag, you'd be like, what the heck is this? Most people would be kind of pissed off if they had to throw all the discs out of my bag, but I love it.
Do you remember your first tournament?
I do. My first solo tournament was at Gunks. It was the one in September. I should know the name of it, but
Sean Gum Showdown 2?
yeah, I believe so. Yeah, that was kind of crazy, and I felt like I never wanted to play Gunks ever again.
You weren't the first one to think that.
Yeah, progressively Gunks has gotten tremendously better, but it was a little brutal. But I did it again, and I ended up winning a Gunks recently last year. So I'm not sure which one. Maybe that one. That would be kind of cool if it was.
The Sean Gum Showdown 6.
Yeah, nice.
2024.
Yeah.
Just so you know, in the Sean Gum Showdown 2, you played MA2 and you beat me. I was in MA 40 and you shot better than me, but I came in second. So I'm just,
Oh, let's go. Nice. Yeah, I played with this guy, Kenny Godwin. He was on our card. Super funny. Kind of disc golf comes full circle. Is he really enjoyed playing with us? We ended up exchanging numbers, and he then became a good like disc golf friend of mine. And we went to Brewster Ridge Open 3 years ago. Was my first one, and we went the following year after that too. But just from that one tournament, it was his first tournament that he had ever played in. And then next thing you know, we're both playing MA1 in this big, A tier at Brewster Ridge and Smugs Notch. It was kind of really cool.
Well, that was another question I was going to ask you. It's showing you professional. When did you make that decision?
I've played a couple MPO tournaments in the, like, say, past 2 years. But the only reason I played them is because they were either the only thing that they had offered, or, there was just like it wasn't rated or something along the lines. So I had a little thing going on with my wife, which is I have to have more birdies than bogeys on my UDisc profile. And I wasn't allowed to go pro until that happened. So last year I won a couple tournaments, won my first one at Minekill and then won the one at Gunks and followed it up with Wonderland at Wilcox. But I ended up surpassing the birdies over bogeys on my UDisc profile sometime before the Wonderland. And I was like, well, I guess 2025 is going to be my year I go pro. So
when you first made that comment, did you think that it was a goal that would be that easily attainable?
No, not at all. I thought, and I'm pretty sure she didn't think that either. I told her I finally passed the bogeys, and she's like, "Stop lying to me." She's like, "There's no way you did that." And I'm like, "No, I swear I did." I'm like, look. Also, it kind of helped with the expectation of playing in pro because I have zero expectation to go out and win. So I was just going out and trying to play good disc golfing ratings wise and stuff like that. So it actually kind of helps.
Heck yeah. And you beat Corey at that Wilcox Wonderland as well, even though he was playing pro. I don't know if you guys were playing different layouts. I just like to point out.
I think we played the same layout.
He had local knowledge.
I was going to say, I'm a Wilcox boy. I can, that's fair. Pretty sure Corey beats me at JPark though.
Although, when did you say you first played Wilcox?
2020.
I guess I have played Wilcox before you did, so I don't know. I've been playing there longer.
I do have a bone to pick. Looks like you were the assistant tournament director at the Wilcox Wonderland. I like to get the Hudson Valley Disc Golf Podcast Player of the Year done by like October, November at the latest. Now I got to wait till freaking December. Is that going to happen again this year, that tournament?
It is, and it is already up on Disc Golf Scene. So maybe we have a little bit more insight, but yeah, it will be happening. I mean, I don't think you need to add it. I don't know if that's a Player of the Year worthy.
It could also be the first one of the new year, if we think.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
Like how Kisco used to be the NIFA originator, and now they start in like freaking September. So,
right. That's cool.
All right. Well, actually, Corey's got a question for you.
Can't wait.
Shoot. Okay, Nick, you're deciding that you got some bogeys to spare on your UDisc profile now, and you figure you might challenge yourself, shake some things up at Wilcox, instead of doing the same thing over and over again. You realize that you're kind of a forehand only guy, and you are going to go to Wilcox, and you're going to play the beach holes and south. You're not even going to touch the main layout.
Nice.
And you're going to play a backhand only round.
Ooh.
What 3 discs and putting putter are you going to use to play a backhand only round at the beach holes, not the lip holes, and South Hatchet 9 from the Reds?
Great question. I just played 3 rounds at Brewster Ridge and didn't throw a single back. I threw one backhand.
I saw you do it. It was on 16 approach.
It was so bad.
Third round.
It would look like I first started playing. Let's see. I would probably have a Leopard 3. Seems to be the only one that I can throw decently straight and kind of get it to glide. I have a nice beat-in Thunderbird that I truly enjoy. And since I have my putting putter, I do throw that, but I would probably take my Zone. My Zone's my go-to disc regardless. So
what kind of zone is that?
it's a Get Freaky, like the Crystal Z Flex Zone. Yeah, they're great. I love them. I had one that was really beat in. It was like my absolute favorite disc, and I was at Team Challenge Finals last year for the Stony Killers and ended up chucking it into, I think it's hole 9 the one after the water carry hole.
Mhm.
That's like downhill. It's got the little island that you shoot to. We were playing the short tee pad, and it seemed like a nice little zone shot, and I just left it up, and it probably went 60 feet out into the lake. And I was like, oh, well, I had all expectations of going out and swimming and going to get it. And then all the guys on the cars that were from Massachusetts and stuff were like, yeah, dude, it's like 60 feet deep there. So you probably shouldn't try to even go get it. Yeah. So that was a goner. Wish I had that back.
How many unique courses have you played?
Ooh, I think I'm up to 142.
Wow.
I'm taking a look.
No, that's cool. Take your time. It looks like you started playing in 2020. Is that correct?
Yeah, that was my first tournament. What was that, in September?
Yeah, like later in the year. So what time of year was it when you actually started playing?
I think I started playing towards like March, April.
Okay. And how quickly did you sign up for PDGA?
Pretty quickly, actually. I was trying to find out about everything disc golf at that point in time. So anything that I saw that was like remotely disc golf related, I was like, oh, I got to do that. So I signed up. I was like one of the first of my friends that had a PDGA number and, things like that. And kind of, if I'm into something, I'm very, very into something.
Well, I can't think of anything that happened March or April of 2020 that would make you look for something to do with your time.
No, nothing.
Anybody?
I don't remember.
I don't know.
It was so long ago.
Well,
yeah.
Corey, March 2020, COVID.
Oh yeah. Was
Right.
that the time? Oh yeah.
That's great.
It's easy to remember for me because St. Patrick's Day was the first trivia I had to cancel. So
Yeah, my band had a gig booked for that and they canceled it. The worst part about COVID was when pickleball went away, but that's how I found disc golf. So there you go.
that's funny because that's the best thing I found about COVID.
That is funny. I got a little vendetta against pickleball for no reason. I like tennis. I should like pickleball, but I think it's just a disc golf pickleball thing.
Yeah, it's like I picked pickleball and disc golf instead of, I used to play ball golf, but I was terrible at it and disc golf's way more fun. I never tried tennis, but I will say pickleball is a lot of fun. I'll leave it there.
Yeah, that's really why I got into disc golf so much is I was a member at a private golf club for probably 5-6 years leading up to disc golf and just slowly wasn't going as much as I should to get my money's worth. And it was like, all right, disc golf is way better in that regard.
I've never played pickleball, so I really have nothing to base it on. I just like making fun of it. So
No, it's totally fair. The people who play know that it's really fun, and we're just waiting for you guys to find out.
that's cool.
Ryan Yaddo and I keep saying that one of these times we're going to go play Shen, and we're going to bring our pickleball stuff and take a break and do a quick little match and then finish the disc golf round. That'll be like the ultimate day.
That's sick.
So do you know how many unique courses?
Yeah, so it's 142 courses. I've probably played in 16 or 17, maybe more states.
Wow. What's the
Yeah.
farthest?
I played in Cali. I played in LA when I was there.
Okay.
That was pretty cool. I got married in Las Vegas kind of because of disc golf, and I got to play a bunch of courses out there. So that was really
Oh, wow.
cool.
A lot of them on ball golf courses or no?
So I played Wild Horse, which was the ball golf course.
Mhm.
Not really, no. I think maybe like a handful, 5-6 of them on like ball golf courses.
Of the 140 something, what was your favorite, would you say?
Oh, baby. I really have a soft spot for Wilcox. I can't say it's my absolute favorite, but if I had to rank them, it's right there. I mean, Brewster Ridge and Fox Run are amazing. I got to play, what the heck's the one in Texas that they do the tournament at the beginning of the year?
Waco?
Yeah, I got to play Waco. Waco was really cool. I played like Hornet's Nest was awesome. Some courses like that. I think it's called Cliff Stevens in Florida. That is like the home of Ken Climo and Calvin Heimberg. That was really cool. I was there on a work trip and I'm driving through the parking lot or like the road to get to the parking lot. And I look over and on hole 10, Calvin Heimberg's just teeing off with a bunch of his buddies. And I actually missed the entrance to the parking lot because like, is that Calvin? Like what the, and caught me off guard. But that was really cool just seeing that. And then the actual park had like 5 different layouts. And although it was pretty flat, it was still very nice.
Yeah, Florida.
Yeah, exactly.
Is there a dream course that you'd like to play that you haven't played?
So we were talking a lot this weekend about Eagles Crossing. I think that kind of shot up there just because of how crazy.
Expensive it is.
Yeah.
Isn't it like $50 a round?
Dude, the guy told me 60. That seems out of control, but I mean, that's like, you're talking regular ball golf prices.
Yeah, right.
That's nuts. I'd want to experience that once and be done. But I really would like to go to Norway and places like that and play over there, but we'll see. Maybe one day.
Yeah.
I am trying to get like, say, 200 courses by the end of the year, but that might be a bit of a stretch.
Jaimen's familiar with that. Did you ever get to, what was that, a couple years ago, Jaimen?
My goal was 150. The problem is I built like 4 of them in that time.
At the pace you build them, you can't keep playing them. You gotta.
Nope, not with only one weed whacker.
That's facts.
But Jaimen does have a question for you, I think.
I do. All right. So wide open, 200-foot hole, flat, nothing in the way, no wind. What are you throwing? How are you throwing it? Are you standing still, running up? What disc? What angle? The whole picture.
Easiest question for me. I'm going forehand, zone, stand still, basically putting on a little flex and having it dump right to the basket.
Why the zone and not the AVR X3?
Well, it's a good question. I don't know. I think it was, like I said, I wanted to get into all things disc golf when I first started. And the first thing that you search, like when you search disc golf, I think just because Brody Smith is, trending or whatever the case is, he came up and it was like to get freaky zones. And I was like, oh, I think I'd like that. Looking at the numbers when I was still trying to figure out what the numbers would do. And I kept throwing it and I realized that I was actually really good at throwing it and haven't gave anything else a chance. I probably should, veer off the beaten path a little bit, but I don't know about that.
Personally, I started with the zone and I love it. I just found it basket averse. It's just very bouncy.
Okay.
So if it hits the chains, it bounces. If you hit 2 feet from the basket, it might skip, 20 feet. Mind you, I probably throw a little harder than I need to for these type of shots. But I asked the question, but the zone, the harp, the AVR X3, they're all,
They're all almost
with
identical.
disc golf, it's about feel. So whatever you prefer is whatever you
This
prefer.
year I tried the tempo out for a hot minute. I like it, but I think it's like a hair understable compared to the zone. But it feels great in the hand.
Yeah, people said it was a baby zone, but it's not a baby zone.
I don't think so.
It's a great disc. I mean, I bag a pig, a tempo, and a zone.
Ooh,
so
nice.
talk about overlap. But the Get Freaky, I'm with you there. The plastic on those is so nice, especially in the winter.
Yeah, in the winter especially, that's a good thing you say that because I feel like I've hit more, 100-footers than the summertime. I hit them more in the wintertime. I don't know. But yeah, I think you're right there.
I'm curious, Randy, do you have a question?
No, my question didn't go over very well last time, and I've been trying to think of one.
Oh, Randy, come on. I know you got a question, dude.
You had the start, sit, cut type of question?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, yeah. Okay, I'll tone it down. So, what is it? Start, bench, and cut. We'll go JP Hafner.
Yes.
Cut. I mean,
We'll go Travis Bashore.
Okay.
And we'll go Nick Terralavaro.
Oh, my captain. Oh, boy.
Yeah.
that's a Sophie's choice.
That's tough. Nick and I have a good relationship, but we don't have the closest relationship compared to JP and I. And Travis handed over the reins to me to run Wilcox Tuesday Dubs. And he got me on the Stony Killers. And he got me on the Widowmakers. Man, that's tough. Okay, so what is it? Sit, bench,
And
Start,
cut.
bench, cut.
and cut?
Mhm.
Oh, baby. I'm going to cut JP because it's funny.
Whoa.
Yeah, it is.
It's so good. Yeah. He's going to love that. And I am probably going to bench Nick and start Travis, not for performance, but just because Travis, I feel like, is my boy and got me to the next level in disc golf.
All right.
Hell yeah.
Speaking of Wilcox Tuesday dubs, Shane Delimitor and Dylan Brown shot a -12 this week.
Yeah, they did. That was really good.
Evan, you got a question, don't you?
Yeah, what's up, Nick? Are you a like a music out on the course kind of guy? Do you enjoy music during the round?
Absolutely.
Awesome. So if I invited you to come play with me at Prospect Park in Troy and gave you the Bluetooth speaker, what would be like 3 artists, bands, or just kind of genre that we would hear on your playlist?
So I typically play my Spotify DJ X. And if you ever play around with me, I always refer to him as my boy X. Playing the music. But I really enjoy, you might be able to help me out with this, Evan. Lovely Day. Who is that sung by? It's a lovely day. Lovely
Oh,
day.
yeah. That's a classic. Is it Bill Withers?
Yes, Bill Withers. Thank you. I couldn't remember it. So something along those lines. I like some Bill Withers. I like some reggae.
Nice.
I'm a big hip hop guy. I'm a Nas fan.
Mm-hmm.
If you put in those three together, my boy X usually hooks it up with a great mix.
Yeah, that'd be a good mix-up.
Man, X is gonna give it to you.
X is going to give it to you.
Yeah.
I'm more of a Wu-Tang guy. In 8th grade, Wu-Tang really hit me in a big way. But Nas is obviously like top tier too.
Yeah. I've seen Nas like 4 or 5 times in concert, and
Oh, wow.
yeah, he's definitely my favorite hip hop artist, and I just enjoy his lyrics and his music making. It's awesome.
Yeah, nice. I have a internet radio website I use that has a lot of channels, and they have a really nice heavyweight reggae station, so that gets a lot of play when I'm out there.
Ooh.
Yeah, Soma FM. Shout out Soma FM.
Yeah, I think reggae is kind of like slept on a little bit. You definitely see it in certain areas when you're playing disc golf. A lot of people are jamming, but
Yeah,
such a good.
there's so
it's
much
such a good
history to
disc
dig
golf.
into, though. So many great old artists in there.
That's for sure.
Sounds like Nick moved up Evan's F Mary Kill list a little bit.
Creeping up.
Nick, what's your go-to course beverage?
I'm sponsored by Miller Lite. Not
Hell
really,
yeah.
but Miller Lite is my my go-to.
Randy, if the screw tops, do you go with the screw top ones?
I should have bought the screw cap ones, but no, I bought a regular 30 rack because it was convenient.
Yeah, I don't really mess with the screw top ones. They're great when I'm traveling. If I'm away
Mhm.
and I don't bring my koozies with me, then the screw tops are perfect.
They seem to be the ideal for a disc golf round.
They
I just
actually
remember
are.
we were talking about
Yeah.
that a few weeks ago. Yeah. Alex, did you have a question?
I do have a question. I've kind of refined it since I was put on the spot whenever I first asked it. What's something that you either really like to see on a course or really don't like to see on a course? Like, not necessarily like
Mhm.
something you think is bad design or something that, shouldn't be on a course safety wise or something like that, but something you personally are like, if you see it on a course, you're like, this is going to be great or this is going to be not so great.
So right off the bat, I guess it's a safety thing. I hate when you're designing a course and you finish a hole and you have to like walk back across a fairway or even like close to the fairway or any opposite direction than forward or left or right in a forward motion. I feel like that's poor design and it like grinds my gears. Other than that, I mean, because that's kind of a safety thing, for the most part. Yeah. I would say I don't love when courses put like, say it's a 340-foot hole, but it's a hard right or, hard left or something. And they, instead of keeping it a hard par 3, they change it to a par 4 or even get really crazy and change it to a par 5. I mean, it's nice because like, oh yeah, I shot great. But at the end of the day, it's kind of silly.
Sure. Keep the pars hard. I like it.
Yeah.
In the end, everybody's shooting on the same thing. Whether you took a 4 and it's a birdie or a 4 and it's a par, it's the same thing. It's a 4.
Right. I'm pretty sure you guys brought it up a while ago, but whenever you're like, oh, what did you shoot this round? Everyone's always like, oh, 4 down. They don't tell you, oh, I shot a 62. They don't tell you the actual par of what they shot. But that's always the case. It's a number of shots you took.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that whatever sounds better, you're going to hear from me.
I never say what the actual par is. I'm always like, yeah, I was even, or I shot +3 or something like that, Yeah.
So when you first started playing back in 2020, who was your favorite professional disc golfer?
I really enjoy Simon and Eagle. I think Eagle's a little better then, so I kind of watched their game and was like, oh, that's pretty sick. Especially the forehand side of it. I kind of really enjoyed watching that part of it.
What about now? Would that have changed or no?
I mean, Simon's still definitely up there. I kind of like all of them. I guess there's just like a few disc golfers that I don't care for that much, but I'm not really like a hater on too many players. I have like a Sarah Holcomb story that's kind of funny, but that's kind of about it.
What do you got?
So I'm sure you guys have heard of icing, like Smirnoff Ice being iced.
Mm-hmm.
I know when you shoot the puck all the way down and nobody touches it, then it's called icing, but
Yeah.
that's all I know.
Kind of like that. That's great. Basically, Smirnoff icing is like you hide a Smirnoff ice somewhere and your buddy goes and opens the cabinet and there's a Smirnoff ice and boom, you get iced. So you have to chug it, typically on one knee.
Even like room temperature, you're talking?
It doesn't matter. Yeah. At that
Okay.
point, yeah, it could be waiting there for a week. But so I was in Vegas and I had a big group of friends with us and we were playing Sunset Park. And the whole week that we were there, basically we were icing everybody. Like it was the game the whole time. So before we got to the park, we stopped at the gas station and picked up a 40-ounce Smirnoff Ice. And they were going to be at the park just a little bit later than us. And we were like, oh, we got a really good idea. Let's put it in the basket at hole one and just kind of like slow play our putts and make one of them putt it out first. And whoever putts it out first gets iced. Well, the plan kind of backfired because we're waiting for our buddies on hole one, and Sarah Holcomb and a couple other people walk up and they're like, you guys mind if we play through? We're like, oh no, go ahead. It's cool. And Sarah drains this like 45, 50 footer. Super sick putt, super awkward, weird looking putt, but whatever. Hits the putt, walks up to grab her disc out of the basket and sees this 40-ounce smeared off ice in there. And we're like, all of us are back on the tee pad being like, oh, you got ice, like screaming at her. And she basically just like looks at us in dismay and like, screw you guys, and puts it back in the basket. And we were all just were like, boo. We actually started booing her, which was kind of messed up, but yeah. So Sarah Holcomb went on my, I don't really mess with Sarah Holcomb that much because she didn't want
She didn't chug a 40 as Smirnoff Ice.
She broke the rule.
Yeah.
I worked at a dive bar for 10 years, and that was serious among the door guys. They would be all night long.
Oh, just messing with everybody?
Well, we'd be like stocking beer at the end of the night, and, they'd be finding them everywhere.
That's funny.
I got iced at my wedding.
Oh.
Kat hid one up her dress, and they called me out to do the garter belt thing, which we had already planned on not doing. So I was like, what the hell's going on? And I go out there to do it. Smirnoff Ice up there. Have a drink in front of everybody. That's epic.
No.
Yep.
I've never heard about that until tonight. So that and chicken riggies. I'm slow, man.
Chicken riggies.
So Wilcox is is this their first A tier, the Wilcox WOW?
Yeah, this is the first A tier. Last year, the WOW was a B tier. Dan Doyle's still running the WOW. This year, he had planned on passing it off to the club, but because we bumped it up to an A tier, he's just going to oversee it one more year. And I mean, we've probably had 20 plus meetings since the beginning of the year, just trying to get it ready and make sure that everything's in place. And yeah.
So you're on the board at Wilcox? How'd that come about?
Yeah, I'm the vice president. Basically, we had a inaugural meeting, and if you were interested in it, you could put your name in a hat, and then we sent it out to voters and different people at Wilcox and stuff like that.
How'd you rig it to you getting voted?
Honestly, I don't know. I did bring like 5 of my friends to the first thing, so it kind of worked out where they were like, "Oh yeah, Nick's that guy, Nick's that guy." I was able to do that, but I am there a lot, and I do run dubs and do quite a bit of other stuff for Wilcox as well.
Who else is on the board?
So Savannah Burke is our president. Kristen McDonald is on the board. She is honestly the unsung hero of everything. She's been crushing everything with the WOW, from organizing the meetings, doing the notes for everything, and actually taking upon herself. She's the one that got Shealy Roofing to be the major sponsor, so we have enough money and we can just keep adding on to the fund. Adam Babbitt is on the board. He's the one that runs the Wonderland. He does a great job with that and also very involved with everything. Eric Mergenhall, mailman, he runs the Lost and Found and has a big part as well. And then Andy Zeman's on the board as well too. And I'm also forgetting about Dylan Johansson. There's quite a bit of people on the board.
And that Andy Zeman, that's Andy Wilcox?
Yeah, that's Andy Wilcox.
Some people might know him.
Yeah, Pickleball Andy now. No, it's funny. He actually, out of all weekends, him and a couple buddies went and played Maple Hill, and he extended an offer for me to go play with him. And I'm like, oh, dude, I'm playing Brewster Ridge this past weekend, and I would have loved to go up and actually play with him, because playing with Andy is an absolute blast. I don't know if anyone has played with him, but yeah, it's great.
Nice. So from what I understand right now, if you want to sponsor a hole, you can register.
Yep.
Women's divisions are open. They opened on June 20th. June 30th, pros $9.49 and above.
Mm-hmm.
July 7th, pros 899 and above, and then July 14th open registration.
Perfect. Yep.
Does that mean AM dudes who don't want to sponsor a hole, they got to wait till July 14th, basically?
So that's a great question. I heard you guys bring that up on the last podcast.
That was Alex, not me. I just stealing his question.
No, it's a great question, and I meant to check it out. I don't think I was at that meeting when we discussed this because I don't remember it at all. Kristen's going to be like, Nick, you idiot. I want to say it's still AMs. If you're above that, it's still able to get in.
I'm actually looking at the registration schedule, and it says pros above 949, and it says MPO, MP40, MP55. On July 7th, it says pros 899, and it specifies MPO, MP40, and MP55. It looks like pros. It doesn't say anything about AMs, so my thinking would be just open registration.
Yeah, I think that's correct. So last year we had about 120 or so AMs play. So our concerns this year were we weren't going to have enough spots for pros being an A tier. So I think the initial fix to that was, okay, let's tier out the pros ratings so we can get the pros in first, and then all the AMs can sign up after that because it won't affect anything. But that was also why it was turned to a 3-day too. So it's tough either way.
I see Andy Lewis, Corey Donahoe, Shane Delimitor,
Nice.
Stephen Hanrahan, and Highland Mike Warner. I'm assuming Highland Mike Warner.
Yep.
So there are amateur players in there. Of course, Caitlin Clay's already signed up, but that's FPO, and their registration's open.
Nice.
And there's another 5 in the MA1 division.
There must be signing up for the whole sponsors then.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that means there's price holes to sponsor. So get in on it.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, there's a ton of holes. There's a lot of options, and we plan on kind of cutting back some of the older signs and putting up all the new ones for the WOW. So it should look really good.
Who here plans on playing it? I know, Nick, you already signed up. So if it's played tomorrow, you're winning MPO.
I'm
So
in.
That's good.
I'll be there.
Click your handy thing if you're planning on it.
Handy thing.
So yeah, Alex, Corey, and Jaimen. That's why I kind of figured. Do you guys have any questions or anything for Nick?
The registration thing was the only thing I'm really worried about. What about the choice to call them lake holes in the description?
Thank you for bringing that back, Alex.
Good point. Corey brought that up to me at the Jammer, and I have no idea why we call them the lake holes. They're the beach holes. I feel like they've always been the beach holes.
Any reasoning with the Friday, Saturday, Sunday?
The real big reason was because of the amount of amateurs that had signed up last year, and being a 2-day tournament, it wouldn't have worked. We needed tee times to add more spots.
So both A and B pool are doing that? The Friday, Saturday, Sunday?
Yeah.
Okay.
There was talks of possibly changing the AMs to either a B or a C tier and having it the following weekend, but the expense just becomes kind of too crazy because the park starts charging you for, using it, and
during a prime camping time. As well.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep.
Jaimen, I don't know if you could even answer this question. Could they do 2 simultaneous tournaments, like an A tier and a B tier or C tier at the same time, or no?
I guess you could, but why?
Yeah.
You will see some tournaments advertised as like A tier for pros, B tier for AMs that are on the same weekend. Ledgestone Insurance Open, for instance, is Disc Golf Pro Tour event, but there's also an AM event that goes on at the same time.
But this year being their first year as an A tier, it's probably best to just keep everything,
Yeah, no, I think it makes sense the way they do that. It's just like, personally for me, it makes me grumpy, which means nothing in the long run ever. I'm still going to play the tournament, don't get me wrong, but...
No, it's difficult for teachers. I get it. My wife's a teacher, and taking any kind of extended time off, especially beginning of the year, anything like that is difficult.
Yeah, it's worth it though. I don't take too many days off a year. I took a day off for bro, and I'll take a day off for this. And that's, if I happen to get sick, I'll take a third day off. It'll be all right.
Any other questions on Wilcox WOW?
Any changes? Are you guys looking at doing any course changes, or just playing it the way it is?
I could be mistaken. Dan could also be mistaken too, but for some reason we thought because it's an A tier, every tee pad needs to be the same. It can't be like on a road or things along those lines. So the park is going to add a few tee pads. We're going to have to create a new one for hole 18 red. And then some of the beach holes, we ordered the turf for some of those as well. So just to keep them the same.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's good practice. I don't believe it is required, I will find the document and send it to you that would have the answer in that.
Yeah, that would be great. I kind of thought about it afterwards and realized that we just played an A tier at Welcome to the Jungle, and Cogs has a couple tee pads that are in the middle of the walkway, the road there. So it wouldn't really make sense if that was the case.
Yeah, there's a couple things. Brewster used to have like several different tee pad surfaces. They were all pavers, but they were all different pavers. On the other hand, one tournament not adhering to the rule does not mean it's not a rule. There's very little oversight on that stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
So, unless I'm mistaken, Alex, Corey, Nick, and Jaimen, you guys all played in the Brewster Ridge Open this weekend?
Yep.
So the DGV Tour number 5, what's DGV?
Disc Golf Vermont, DGVT.
Oh,
It
okay.
usually is.
The Brewster Ridge Open, or the Bro. So, Nick, how'd it go?
I felt like I played very, very good, at least above my rating and pretty consistent. Fox isn't the best course for me. I can throw pretty far, but I lose some accuracy, especially in the wind and if it's wet at all, as does most people. But I think I had 17 OB strokes and finished plus 22 on the tournament. So
That's not bad.
no.
You basically averaged 30 points above your rating, or pretty close to 30 points above your rating all 3 rounds.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, I felt like I played very good and very low expectations playing an MPO. But yeah, I had a great time. Everyone on my card was good. I got to play with Kyle Hirsch the final round. He was playing pretty freaking good. It was weird. My round at Brewster felt kind of meh and ended up being my best round rating of the tournament. So I'll take it. I was putting good. It was awesome.
How many times have you played this now?
This is my 3rd time playing this.
And it's been the last 3 years?
Nope, I missed it last year and I played the 2 previous ones.
And where did you finish?
69th.
Anybody?
Nice.
Nice. I had to unmute.
I was waiting.
You finished at a tie for 69th with Charlie Vasey and 2024 Hudson Valley Disc Golf Podcast Player of the Year, Tucker Kozlowski.
Tucker,
nothing
yeah,
to
yeah.
sneeze about.
Yep.
Kyle was the only one that you knew beforehand that you played with?
I played with this one guy, Caleb Bryant, who I recognized his name because he had played the Jammer the week before. It's kind of funny because he had played the Jammer and then he started kind of complaining about JPark, and I really enjoy JPark, and I ended up having to play with him again the 3rd round as well with Kyle. So it was fun. It was good.
Not to veer off, but real quick, what are your thoughts on Jay North?
I love JPark. It's a love-hate relationship. I think obviously South is more obtainable and scoreable and things like that, but Jay North is good. I like it.
Okay. No, I'm just curious.
I heard you guys talking about it last podcast, and I agree and disagree with most. It's not bad. There is great lines. All my friends joke that it's so beautiful, and not that it isn't beautiful, but the whole reason why we go there is we always get crushed in disc golf, but it's just such a beautiful place to play. Yeah, that's kind of my take on Jay North.
J27 or Jay North?
I play J27 about every time I go and play it. The only time I don't is if I have a tournament or event going on that I want to just practice the layout for.
Yeah, for me, it's just because if I'm going to drive an hour 15, hour 20, minimum, I'm playing the 27, if not the 2 rounds.
Yeah,
So,
agreed.
Corey, how'd you do at the Brewster Ridge Open?
I did pretty good after playing it last year in like kind of the crappy weather, both the heat and the rain. I was looking forward to having better conditions to play in and hopefully score better. Round 1 playing on Fox, I was able to play somewhat clean. I still had 6 OB strokes, which is way more than I'm trying to get. And I got at least 2 on 1 hole, but able to get a couple birdies that kind of saved my round, and initially was rated 1,007, 4 over. And I think as we were watching some of those later cards come in, it was just slowly going down and down and down. And I thought I was going to end up with a 999 or something. But right now, before the rounds get locked in, it's sitting at 1,001. So I was pretty happy about that. I think at the time, like 1 or 2 strokes over the cash line. Brewster Ridge in the woods, I feel like I would normally play better at, but my putting kind of saved me round 1, and I was having a little bit of struggles, kind of like making some really good putts, but missing some really easy ones, and had kind of like a disappointing 10 over round, but it was still rated like 950, just below my rating. Meanwhile, we've dodged all crap weather. I think Friday, the earlier tee times had to play in some real garbage. The worst that we had to play in any of my tee times was a little bit of wind. So going into Sunday, it was actually maybe a little bit windier, or at least a little more unpredictable with the wind. So round 2, I played with a guy named Cook Tarleton. I played with him again round 3, and I ended up playing with Justin Muccelli round 3 as well. Had a couple of moments of greatness, but also, definitely was kind of like running out of gas by the end, making some really dumb mistakes. But got to watch Cook eagle hole 4 on Fox Run, which is a shot where people throw like a turnover righty backhand over an OB into like a landing area and then approach the basket. He's a lefty, which makes it a lot harder, but he threw in his approach from like 250 maybe. And then right after he threw, Muccelli threw, and he literally almost did the same thing. And then coming down hole 18 stretch, which is the big downhill hole on Fox, Cook ended up going OB kind of early and then got super aggressive on the second shot. Meanwhile, before we actually teed off, while we were waiting for the cart ahead of us, I was kind of joking, this round's kind of shit. It'd be kind of funny to do something memorable, like actually shank one into the crowd of people that are watching by the Pro Tour shop and give them something to remember. I was just joking, but I don't know if maybe he took it seriously, because he threw this monster hyzer like over the pro shop and it never came back in. And I feel like people were yelling for like 10 seconds. Nobody moved. Nick, you were down there, so it was like Kyle and Tucker, but like I thought someone was about to get hit really bad. I kept hearing it was 4, but nobody moved. And I think it hit a bag pretty hard.
So it was actually the FA1 winner. It hit her bag so hard and she like didn't really move. She just kind of leaned forward, and I have no idea how she like dodged it, because that was a bullet.
Yeah. I mean, we were 300 feet away and I heard it hit the bag.
Wait,
Oh,
was
it
she wearing the
so
bag?
hard. No,
No,
she
I
wasn't
think it was,
wearing
like,
it.
on
She
the
had it
ground.
like to the left
Oh,
of her.
you said
on
she
the
leaned
ground.
forward. I'm just picturing like she leaned over and it like went behind her head and hit her backpack or something. That's crazy.
It basically, if she didn't lean forward, it was going to hit her in the shoulder or the face.
Yeah, so she got kind of lucky.
Since Corey's glazing him so hard, I'm using your slang, Corey. Cook Tarleton, tied for 39. You know he's not related to you, right? That's his first name.
Yeah, it was actually kind of weird because round 2, I also played with Kyle Moriarty, and my brother's name is Kyle. So I've heard like Kyle and Corey a lot over 1 year. So to hear like, going through like the T order and hearing like Kyle Corey or Corey Cook or Kyle Cook, it's just like, oh, God damn it.
A little bit more symmetry in there. I was on hole 4 while you guys were playing hole 12. I went over to Justin and asked him if anybody had suggested that you and Cook switch shirts, because you were wearing pink shorts and he was wearing a pink shirt.
Oh, really? Yeah, he was wearing a pink shirt, I remember.
Maybe pink is just the Cook color.
That first round, you said it's not final, but 1,001. If that stands, that's not your first 1,000 rated round this year, right? I thought you had another one.
No, Thatcher Flex, maybe that one was 1,000 and got reduced. I think I've thrown a couple. I've thrown at least one other one this year.
Yeah, okay. I just double checking.
Yeah, so I guess I have. I threw one at the Sunstein Open. Now, basically, my first round kind of saved me from having another classic Corey round where he averages his rating. And I mean, I still kind of barely averaged over my current rating, but it was cool. It was fun. We hit a swimming hole. So there's this classic watering, like swimming hole area off one of the main roads, like down the road from Smuggler's Notch. And Saturday after our round, a whole bunch of us went down there and hung out and checked it out for a bit. So finally was able to cross off the swimming at Smuggler's Notch thing that we always said we're going to do and never do.
You mentioned Justin Muccelli. He was not there for Pro League this week, was he?
Nope. Justin went up to Smugs, I think, on Monday and got 11 practice rounds in before the tournament started, which is funny because all that practice, he only beaten by one.
Who won Pro League?
That was actually me in a one-hole playoff over Justin Park at Stephen P. Wallace. I think we both went 6 down, I'm guessing.
50?
Yeah, 6 down, 50.
Anything else?
No, we had an Airbnb with myself, Jaimen, Kyle, Alex, Tucker Kozlowski, and Jason Gorsage, and it was a good time.
Did you say Brandon?
Oh, and Brandon Medina. Yep, it was a good time.
Heck yeah. When did you go down?
I went up Thursday morning, and got practice round at both courses. Me and Kyle drove up, and then Gorsage, Alex, and Brandon met us up there that day.
What about you, Nick? Did you get up there for any practice beforehand?
Yeah, I got up there. I have volleyball and softball on Wednesday nights. Softball got canceled. Luckily, we were able to leave a little earlier than expected. So I got up there around 2 a.m. on Wednesday or Thursday morning, I guess. But we got a practice round, and we were staying with JP Hafner, Max Horowitz, good buddy of mine, Dylan Brown, Alden Slack, and Steve and Ben Vondrick and John Tamburino. So we had a pretty packed house. And they had planned on a practice round at 8:40 in the morning on Thursday. So we were like, well, we're gonna skip that. Me, Alden, and Dylan got up there a little too late, and actually got to go play this other course in Vermont called Cold Hollow. It was about a half hour, I think, north, and it was a birdie fest. It was one of those, crazy higher pars. The pars were the same as the long tees, but we decided to play the short tees because we didn't want to throw our arms out. And my buddy Max met us there, who was staying with us, and he actually had an albatross on a hole. If he asked me the distance, it was 1086. So that was cool. And then we actually got a practice round in at Brewster right after that, around like 4:30 or so. So we didn't crush our arms playing Fox and Brewster. The previous 2 times I went up there, I felt like that was kind of a little too much to practice Fox in the morning and then Brewster at night, or vice versa, just because it was a lot. And I felt like it was threw your arm out for the tournament, and not the case this year. So it felt good.
Nice. Jaimen, when'd you go out?
Thursday and Friday. I went up for 2 practice rounds on Thursday, but I also had to work Friday morning because it's harder to take a day off in between a weekend and a national holiday. I could be like scrutinized for it and I could get docked pay. So I just drove up Thursday, played 2 practice rounds, then drove back for work on Friday morning.
Do you know when your school year ends yet?
This Thursday, as long as we don't have like a heat day tomorrow or something. My district does not have enough air conditioning to keep up with the 100-degree day we're going to have tomorrow.
That's crazy, because when I lived in Memphis, snow days were non-existent, but no AC days were definitely a thing. I never heard of that up here, so that's surprising. But it makes sense, especially right now.
Yeah, it's going into law in New York next year that your classroom can't be above, like, I think at 82 degrees, you got to do something. And at 88, you got to get everybody out of there.
I think it's crazy to find out why those are the numbers. I'm sure there's some reasoning for that. I don't know. I just find that interesting.
Oh, yeah, totally.
How was your weekend there?
My weekend was phenomenal. I played both of the courses the best I've ever played them. It was filled with crazy shot after crazy shot. Not anything I was doing. I was playing very boring golf, but playing it well. Just everybody on my card was doing some super insane things. Day 1, Rob Valicki was like 2 inches low on an eagle on 18 on Fox Run, just like smashed that top square before you're in the basket and just sat down for an easy birdie. I watched a guy throw long of hole 8's basket on Fox Run, and then like OB long, and then made like a 35-foot putt to save his par. Just really crazy golf all weekend. I saw somebody eagle hole 17 on Saturday on Brewster Ridge. So it was super fun. I was able to play super well. That's the best complete tournament I've ever played by a long shot. I think I've like finished a B tier once in a while, averaging in the thousands, but this tournament I finished off with averaging 10-22 golf. The big thing for me was I was able to, throughout the entire weekend, only throw out of bounds once.
Which is probably the craziest stat. Like, I don't know what your birdie percentage was or your C1 putting or whatever, but like 1 OB. A lot of people lost that battle on the first hole of round 1.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people doubled that on the first hole.
Yeah.
That's a crazy stat.
It's never even been something I've been like considering. I'm always like, all right, I just want to keep my OB like below 5, because it's gonna happen out there. And honestly, the only OB that I threw was just because I had like hyped myself up so much in the first round, because through the first 17 holes and first shot of hole 18, I also had a no OB round. And then I like threw just an absolutely terrible shot because I was so in my head about not going out of bounds that I didn't pay attention to what I should do. I just paid attention to what I shouldn't do, and I went out of bounds. So even that one was just like a dumb mistake. But yeah, no, I'm super excited with how I did, and I feel like I can keep building on that. And, I played safe golf all weekend, but I saw a lot of people who played really aggressive golf. And, I can see how I can get more aggressive with what I'm doing and, increase the amount of birdies I'm getting without necessarily increasing the amount of bogeys I'm getting too. I see a lot of aggressive golf. I see a lot of reckless golf. And I think those two things can be different.
Like smart aggression.
Yeah.
It sounds like you answered this question, and I think based on what Corey was saying earlier, these are still not final, but have you ever finished a tournament with 3 over 1,000 rated rounds before?
No, not 3. I've finished 1 or 2 with 2,000 rated rounds, or probably several with 2,000 rated rounds, but no, I haven't gone wire to wire 1,000 rated rounds in a 3-round tournament, especially not like an A tier. This was a pretty big event. There was like 92 players in it, in the pro field alone.
Your second round is your lowest round. That's 10-10. What's the most you've seen in fluctuation? Have you seen more than 10 points in a change before?
That Cosmic Open.
Yeah, but it actually went back.
Oh, yeah, I keep forgetting about that.
Yeah, that was a weird one. They did change that back. I don't think it would be really possible for that one to go below 1,000.
All right.
I'm not too up on the math of how all that stuff works, but I would be very surprised at least.
But top 10, tied for 10th place with Whit Stevenson. I mean, that's pretty impressive. And that's all you got on there? I don't know.
Yep. Yeah, I couldn't be happier. Made a lot of my putts. Just super great cards the entire time. Met some really awesome people that I haven't played with a bunch of really awesome people that I have played with. And finally got to go swimming up at Smugs. That was one of my goals this weekend too. So I was super happy to do that. And found a great maple creamy place on the drive back that I'm going to be hitting up every year now.
Is that just soft serve?
It's just soft serve, but I think it's more of a custard.
Oh, okay.
It's a little thicker, but the one that I got had you could tell it was actual maple syrup in it. It wasn't fake shit, but they're good.
You mentioned Rob Valecki. He was tied for 25th with Ethan Hine.
And in case anyone was curious, the cash line for this event, you had an average 990 tournament rating. It was not easy. There was a lot of killers there.
Any notable rounds from anybody?
FPO, if you haven't talked about FPO.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't even look at FPO. Caitlin Clay is your winner. Wow. By 2 strokes over Karen Martell. Heck yeah.
I think she averaged 943 for the weekend, and I got to watch her last hole. And on that hole, she laid up for a double bogey because she knew she was going to win it. So she just kept everything super, super safe. Probably laid up a 25-footer that she could have canned for the bogey and still shot 960s golf on that round.
She ended right now. It's a 964.
Yeah.
With that. So, wow.
And I don't remember on Sunday what time they teed off, but I know Friday they played in the worst of the weather.
Yeah, she was way back after the first round, right? Wasn't she 5th or 7th or something like that?
Yeah, she was in the cash. Definitely wasn't running away with it. The stat of the first round that I saw was she took a 6 on hole 7, which played as almost an eagle in the field. There was 2 6s on that hole, and nobody took a 5, which is par. I think the average score was probably somewhere very close to 8, if not above 8. So the conditions that they were playing in that morning were very different than the conditions that a lot of the rest of the field had to play in later that day.
Yeah, there was 6 total birdies round 1 in all of FPO, all 26 of them, and she got one of them. There was, I would not have wanted to play out there, that's for sure.
She improved her rating each round.
Also, I think round 2, Caitlin and Megan Mercier shot the hottest round of even in the division. And also, Megan was able to play, I don't know if it's her best event, but she played solid to play. I lost it. She cashed 2, right?
Yeah, tied for 9th.
Yeah, Megan crushed it too.
MP40, Brinster tied for 2nd with Justin Chiu, and Craig Cutler tied for 4th with Alan Jansen. Anybody else that we know of that was there that we didn't mention?
Tyler the Cannon Gannon had a really good weekend out there.
What division did he play?
MA1.
Ooh, tied for 5th. Yeah, heck yeah.
He was lead card going into round 3.
Well, you know what? I totally skipped over Alex. I'm sorry, Alex.
I couldn't tell if I was gonna wait until we got really to the end and then I was gonna say something, or if we're gonna, or what exactly was gonna happen.
I'm sorry, Alex. When did you go up?
So I went up Thursday morning. I picked up Brandon Medina along the way, met up with Corey and Jaimen and people for that first practice round at Brewster. I, however, elected not to go out for the second practice round. I was looking at the weather and didn't want to get caught in the rain again. And I felt much more confident about Fox Run than Brewster. So I made the decision to just go with the one practice round. I think it was all right. First round was at Brewster Ridge playing golds. I picked up the only birdie of the MA1 field on hole 7, so I was feeling really good about that. I played some bogey golf after that, but then picked up 17 and parred on 18, so finished out with a +9, which is far better than I had done last year, so I was feeling pretty good about that. I will say I got very lucky with how the weather played out for all 3 rounds. I dodged all of the significant weather. That being said, I'm not used to having like 2 o'clock tee times all the time, so I need to figure out better things to do prior to my rounds so that I don't, come in cold or tired or whatever.
Scrapbooking works out real well, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's something. Got to keep me active. But yeah, I think that really came to bite me in the butt in round 2 and 3, but that's how it goes. Round 2, I started off 4 over through 3, which is really not what you're looking for, especially on Fox. I'm playing the blue tees, so they're a little bit easier in some cases. A lot of the gold tees are shared with the blue tees. But I was feeling really confident about Fox Run in my round there, and I was almost immediately regretting my decision not to do the practice round there. But then picked up a couple of birdies, picked up a couple of bogeys, and then got 13, 14, 16, and 18 out of my last 6 holes, which 16 and 18 are really good ones to get. 13, I was the only birdie in the MA1 field. 14 is also a good one to get. So feeling much more confident coming out of that round than I was the first round. And then round 3 happens, and I kind of went back to how I was. Actually, the beginning of the round was pretty good, feeling pretty warm. Couple of bad holes, but really I should have done better. I kind of blew up on the last 3 holes to take a +10 overall, but it's kind of tough playing 3 rounds in a tournament and staying focused for that whole time. But ended up tied 18th out of 55, which was good enough for 380 points.
And that last round was only 1 point. I mean, as of right now, it's only 1 point below your ratings.
Yeah, I'm just thinking back, like 13, I had a very, very good drive with a chance at a birdie and hit a branch, kicked myself way left into the road that isn't the fairway to get up to the green. Ended up taking a double there. So turning a birdie potential into a double bogey. 16, I was OB. 17, had a pretty good throw and messed it up. 18 had an okay throw and missed a putt. There's a lot of small things that if I had done it a little bit better, I would have gotten a little bit better. But like you said, it's right around my rating and over my rating for the event. And, I'm really proud of the birdies I got on Fox. So that was one thing I wanted to mention. 18, you get this crowd of people who are sitting by the pro shop because, you can see the whole of 18 while you're doing that. I throw my drive and it's really, really good. I'm really happy with this drive. I'm just short of the tree that's right at the corner. And I'm throwing from the blue tees, so it's not quite as impressive as, if I had thrown it from golds. But still, it's a really good drive. Nobody says a dang thing out of the crowd. There's 100 people just sitting there and no one's paying attention to what I'm doing. And, I was able to throw a pretty good approach and tap in a birdie. Still nothing the entire time. So I'm torn because I want recognition because I feel really good about getting that birdie. But then also I don't know if I really wanted all those eyes on me while I'm, trying to putt a 15-footer and knowing if I miss that there's going to be all these people who were watching. I still can't figure out if I'm happy or not happy that nobody seemed to be watching me despite, having a really good hole.
You got to go up and play some New Hampshire and Vermont tournaments. Those guys remember everybody they ever play with.
Yeah, that was another thing. I played with someone who the only time I had ever played with him was last year at Bro, and he remembered me. And then in round 3, I did it again with somebody who I had only ever played with once at Bro, and he remembered my name and everything. So, yeah, they got some good memories out there.
Alex, you're literally, don't think this the wrong way, but kind of a freak of a human specimen. You're like fucking 6'8". People are going to remember you.
That's fair. That is fair.
Most people are lucky to be taller than 5'10", most men.
Yeah. Yeah, that is something that doesn't help my, I'm not very good at remembering names. I'll remember faces and I'll be like, oh yeah, I'm pretty sure I played with you at some point, but I wouldn't be able to tell you your name or anything like that. And people are remembering, what I look like, my name, all that. And that's a little bit of a off-putting, or not off-putting, but, awkward situation where it's like, yes, I do know you. I'm not just making things up that I know you, but yeah.
So you tied for 18th with Shane Seals, Bruce Machete II, Dennis Poirier III, Jeff Miles, and Zach Moncrief. How many points do you know?
Approximately 380 if it holds up as it is, which puts my total to 15-10. Yeah.
Whoa, so over 3/4.
Just over the 3/4 mark. I'm not sure if like league hit or something at the same time, but yeah, I am just over the 3/4 mark, which is awesome.
Heck yeah.
I was literally just this morning trying to figure out, what tournaments am I definitely going to go to, what tournaments am I going to maybe skip out on because I don't need to grind quite as hard. But getting a big number at this one was really important for me not having to stress for a lot of the rest of the tournaments.
A few other notable names. Robert Hallam, that's a CTK guy, right, Jaimen?
Yeah.
Yep. Tied for 32nd with Jaimen's relative Joseph Humes, the plural version of your family.
Yep.
Everett Secor, Dylan Slick, and Michael Mahoney. Max Horowitz, does that name ring a bell?
Yep.
He tied for 24th with Camden Kulzik and Jeffrey Abbott.
Max is a stony killer. He was right around my tee time pretty much every time, so I got to yell at him every time he was holding us up.
And Saturday was his birthday.
Oh yeah, I
heck
forgot
yeah.
about that. Happy birthday to him.
Yeah, it was. Happy birthday, Max.
John Tamburino, that name rings a bell, tied for 12th.
Another Wilcox guy for sure.
Tied with Tony Stoio. We mentioned earlier Tyler the Cannon Gannon tied for 5th with Joe Bussier. Leighton Brinster tied for 3rd with Colin Sprague, and Matthew Darby was your winner.
Real quick, so on 13, which is that hole that I really screwed up, I had a birdie opportunity and doubled. As I'm standing in that road, somebody's walking up the path, and I'm like, "Oh, did you forget a disc or something?" And he's like, "No, I'm just going to check in on my son." And as he says that, he gets a little closer, and I realize it's Brinster going to check in on Leighton, who's right behind me, and I'm like not recognizing him and in a really crappy spot for like one of my first interactions with him ever. And it's like, yeah, I could have done that a little bit better.
Two more things real quick. Brandon Medina and Ross O'Toole also cashed in MA2. Brandon was playing really well. Obviously Ross was too. And then Alex, what did you make for dinner on Saturday?
A while back, Jaimen had mentioned that Kristen McDonald had made a ganache meal. It was one of the best things he had eaten at Team Challenge. So I snagged that recipe and put that together for the Saturday night group dinner at the Airbnb. It seemed like people like that.
I'm pretty sure when she made it, it was gnocchi.
Yeah, but when I was eating it.
Corey's eating it, it's ganache. No, that's fair.
Yeah. We're at the Notch. We're at Smuggler's Notch, so it's ganache.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
That's
and
fair.
also because she handmade her ganaches and you bought the frozen kind.
Did you really?
No, I hope not. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of work. No, I got whatever was in the pasta aisle. It wasn't frozen.
Oh.
We didn't mention, but Paul Kranz beat Jesse Longenecker by a stroke to win the MPO division.
Yep, and it was filmed, so whenever that comes out, it should be pretty interesting watch.
Speaking of film, that looked like Mindkill came out.
Yeah, we watched that.
How is it that Bickersmith knew it before Jason?
That guy knows everything.
He's got the notifications turned on.
Oh, fair enough. All right. Correspondent Joe Karen pointed out that the 2025 NADGT Exclusive at Albatross Creek presented by MVP Disc Sports was this past weekend. Tournament director Greg Hill, Stephen Lackard won the mixed junior under 18 division. Women's amateur 3 was won by Brianna Strothenke. Evan Chickering won MA3 by 4 strokes over Bradley Baybutt. MA2, Ryan Sweeney beat Eric Canine. Any relation to Cody? Because that's how I'm pronouncing it.
Yep, they're cousins.
Okay. Ryan Sweeney beat Eric Canine by a stroke in the MA2 division. John Balash won the mixed amateur 70 division. Mixed amateur 60 plus, Michael Prince won that. And Joe Karen won the MA40 division. He beat Joel Davis by 4 strokes. Patrick Voorhees won the MA1 division over Cody Canine. Patrick Voorhees shot a -5. Cody Canine shot an even par. On Sunday, they did bring your own partner dubs at Albatross Creek. Joseph Pulsoni and Ashley Pulsoni won the mixed division with a -1. And Jeremy Robbins and PJ Malone won the other division with a -11. Thank you, correspondent Joe Karen. Did anybody have a Summer Battle Royale match recently? Tim, who'd you play?
I played B. Klein, the commissioner.
Where was that and how'd it go?
We played on Sunday morning at White Elephant. As you know, B. Klein has been playing mental games with me for 2 weeks now. I'll give my 3 excuses before I tell you how I lost. I probably shouldn't have played. My leg and back have been killing me the last few weeks, and I probably should have forfeited right off the bat, but I waited too long and went in thinking, I'm like, oh, I can muscle through the round. The second excuse, apparently there was a track and field event there, which is the course goes around a school. So there is a large field and there were hundreds of children there.
I almost said something when you said you were scheduled for White Elephant. I'm like, make sure that you're not scheduling on the same day as one of those, because when they're doing the track and field stuff, the people who aren't doing events like to sit in the shade on holes 1 and 18.
Luckily, there was no one anywhere near the course because the course needed a little upkeep. So the grass was very long and there was a lot of water around there. So no one was close to the course. So that was very beneficial. Even like hole 16, there was nobody over there. But the issue, and for whatever reason, the woman who was announcing and doing the gun, she had a vendetta against me and decided to always speak or yell through the microphone or shoot the gun off for a race as I was in my backswing or putting. So after like the 5th time it happened, Brandon was like, if that happens again, maybe we can have a discussion, because she's really got it out for you. It was kind of funny. It happened like 4 or 5 times. And then at the last few holes, they got him. So it was pretty fair overall. And then the last one is B. Klein walks up as we're about to start and he continues his mind games and tells me he's been putting like crap for like the last week. And that was not the case. We start off hole 1 and I think he was up 3 through 4. So he was just crushing me. I really wasn't throwing well because my leg was killing me. So I was trying to like not commit to it and trying not to hurt myself more. And I think that really got to my head because the first 9 holes, I was barely throwing the disc and he was up 3 through 9. And then I finally started like just saying, I'm here, I'm going to get hurt. I might as well just start throwing. So I took 2 more back on him and I was down 1 going into 13. And I will say hole 12, I threw a beautiful turnover. I think I was like 10 feet from the pin. It was probably the best shot I had all day. So that was my highlight of the round. I was able to battle back to 1 down and then he took 2 on me on hole 14. I thought I had one. I was like 2 feet from the pin and he, like you said, his putt was off, but it wasn't. He made a 35 footer without any problems to push that hole when all I had to do was drop it in. So we get to hole 16. I'm dormy, 3 down. I'm able to win hole 16. And then on 17, I am probably about 55, 60 feet out, and he is under the basket for par. So I have to make this the push to the last hole, and I can it. It was awesome. And then we get to 18 to push for a playoff. I am probably 25 to 30 feet out from the basket, but I'm down. The hole 18 has a little ditch off to the left-hand side that sits down, and it was really wet. There was a lot of water down there. Again, he's under the basket for par already. So if I make this, I push it to a playoff. And as I pull my disc down and go to push, my foot slips in the mud and I hit the left side chains and it falls out. And I lost by 1 stroke. Well, I'm sorry, by one point.
1 whole point.
1 hole, point match, whatever, yeah. But overall, like I said, I was in quite a bit of pain. I was pretty happy I was able to battle back after being down 3 early, but it was frustrating to be, if I just, embraced the pain earlier, I probably would have had a better chance.
All right, so we've actually got, according to the bracket here, it looks like the losers round 1 and the round 2 are all set. So losers round 1, I'm going to be playing Ross K. I think we've got Saturday set up. I've actually got to text him and be like, okay, that's cool. And we'll figure out a time and he can pick the course. I don't really give a fuck. I'm going to beat him.
Hell yeah.
Did I sound confident there? Yeah, okay. Joe C and Todd E play against each other. Evan and his life partner, Eric Struna. How's that going to go?
It's going to be lots of hugging. Someone's going to go home sad, but happy for the other person.
All right. JJ Knapp and is that Lenny R?
Lenny. Yes, that's Lenny.
Justin H and Caitlin Clay. Who's Justin H? Do we know?
Hickok.
Ooh, that sounds like a good matchup. Am I wrong?
I don't disagree.
Okay.
That will be a good one.
And then Mike C, Mike Cohen, and 1/2 of Camel Case, Corey Brian Monahan.
Yep.
Fills out the losers bracket 1. Round 2, we got Luke K and Brandon Klein. Luke, anybody?
Kotleski.
Yeah, I don't know him.
I was thinking Luke Kuechly, but I don't think that fits.
He's a Stony Killer and common staple at Stony Kill Weekly Dubs.
My new best friend, Devin Lamke, and Corey's favorite, Kevin Wen, play each other. We got a battle of Ross O and Mark O. I guess that's Ross O'Toole and Mark Ox.
Yep.
Dennis Daly and Aaron H. Holtby. Kyle M.
Moore.
And Jamie Borge.
Yep.
Terry Hudson and Tim Martino.
Correct.
Man, I'm getting better at this. Josh
You're
Lee
awesome.
and Greg Kurtz.
Ooh, that's a good matchup.
Is that who it is?
Anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jimmy O'Connell and Mikey Botlez, Mike Zancelli is your winner's bracket round 2. Tim and Kenji are waiting on other losers to join to determine their matchup. Over in the pro division, we already know Corey beat Ryan Yadow and Bickersmith beat Alex. So now if Evan and Eric was a matchup of lovers, come on, Corey and Brian, that's going to be, What are you thinking? Do you guys have anything lined up?
We're probably going to be between playing Central Park or Stephen P. Wallace from the Longs. I don't know. Something about playing half the bracket at Stephen P. Wallace doesn't really sit right with me, but I think it's closer for both of us. But yeah, we'll see. We haven't actually locked in a time and date yet.
We didn't hear from Jason this week, but it looks like he won his match with Jason Gorsuch 3-2, and he will be playing against Adam Shoemaker in round 3. In the losers round 2, Alex, anything about Ryan Yadow?
Nothing yet. I'm sure we'll figure it out pretty quick.
Mm-hmm.
He's a Chatham Hills country clubber, but he was out for a good chunk of the season with, I believe, a shoulder injury. So I don't really have a ton of scope on how he's been playing recently. So I'm predicting that I'm going to win, but I don't really know how that one's going to go.
Well, according to your bracket, you got to go all the way to the end.
Yeah, no, I gotta lose to Brian twice.
Corey's going to change that for you.
Alex, I recently took the 33 tag from Ryan Yadow at Prospect, if that means anything to you.
Okay. I mean, 33 is still better than my 40, so it could be either way.
And Travis Bashore is waiting on the winner of Jason Gorsuch and Joseph Goyette. May or may not be related to Tim. All right. Anything else on the Summer Battle Royale?
Nope.
So Jason sent us in a rules question. All right. So here's your scenario. Erwin Schraudinger is competing in Mike Schwartz's Flex Series at Heiser Creek. Erwin is performing very well and is leading the MA80 division by 1 stroke after the first 17 holes, probably over Kevin Kroenke, if that's his name. His card approaches the 18th hole, and Erwin has the box. For those that don't know, hole 18 at Heiser throws over a tightly wooded ravine with an OB stream at the bottom. Nervous about his 1-stroke lead, Erwin grip locks his drive, and the disc smashes into a tree halfway down the fairway, directly above the creek. The disc hits the tree so hard that it splits into 2 large pieces. One piece falls straight down into the OB creek and splashes into the water. 2 seconds after hearing the splash, the group hears the sound of chains as the other piece flies off and lands in the basket. The group recollects what just happened and deliberates. One piece of the disc came to rest in the middle of the creek, and then shortly after, the other piece came to rest in the basket. Per PDGA rules, how should Erwin and his group resolve his drive? What do you got, Nick?
So I actually had this happen to me at Team Challenge at 501 for finals. I believe it's the bigger piece of the disc. So say if the bigger piece landed in the basket, then it would count as a ace, I guess. But if the bigger piece was in OB, then it would be out of bounds and played as so.
Anybody else?
I'm with Nick.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
That's what I thought.
Correct.
The one thing I'd add is I think it's the biggest findable piece. So like if you split off into, 3/3 and 1/3 is slightly bigger than the others, but you can't find it, I believe you just go with the biggest one that you found.
Can you imagine if it was only the biggest piece and you just like put the disc back together and realize that there's a larger chunk that you can't find, so you take an OB, like a lost disc stroke?
I did not realize that. Never mind.
No, I'm not saying that I've done that. I'm just saying that would be wild if it was.
Oh, yeah, that'd be insane.
We should
That'd be
change the rules
crazy.
of that.
You should make that the rule.
You can't prove that the piece that's missing is in one piece.
It could be
Correct.
2 pieces. You're right. Ooh,
That's a good point.
interesting.
What are we making these discs out of, guys?
Yeah, plastic.
Jeez. It's just like glass.
Yeah, KC Pro.
My brother hit a tree at JPark with a DX Shark that he left out in the sun for over a year, and it broke pretty cleanly in 2 pieces, I think.
I've only had one disc break, and it was KC Pro.
Oh yeah, KC Pro Rocks shatter.
I think
yeah.
Jack has that happen once a year.
Wow.
Randy, did you have a thought?
I don't have a differing opinion, but I think with something this important, I would need like a scale or something to weigh them, because
You
what
can
if
visually
it's
tell.
similar?
What if one has more of the rim and less of the flight plate?
Yeah.
Yeah, is it biggest by mass or biggest by size?
See,
by
We're
volume.
going to need a bucket of water stat.
displacement, water displacement
Yeah,
is a
biggest
really
by
good way.
volume?
Oh, I was going to say next year's Mindkill Players Pack could have a little mini digital scale for everybody.
That's great.
Well, according to PDGA 80501D, if a thrown disc breaks into pieces, its position is that of the largest piece. So I don't think weight has much to do with it. It's just
Yeah, I think it's size. Largest is size, not
Mo Bigga.
weight.
so. According to Jason, the group should determine which piece is bigger and establish the lie from it. Now, if there's a missing piece, I would argue that whatever's found is what's
Yeah.
you know.
I think that disc would get some form of trophyified. If the bigger piece was the ace part, then I would definitely turn that disc into a trophy.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Anything else? Anybody have anything that they wanted to mention that I totally forgot about?
Just people should sign up for the Forever Young charity doubles event at Heiser Creek in August. It's for a good cause. I think the money's going toward the JPark Whites, but it's also, raising awareness for disc golfers that we've lost. So good tournament to play.
Oh, yeah.
And it's open now to sign up.
Sounds great. I definitely want to do that.
Because I always have to say it, those are the guys who bought basically half of the baskets for OKDGC by raising money. So always have to thank them anytime they get brought up.
And stealing information from the Discap newsletter for June, JPark White Tee course work began this week. Hole 1 is done. Reach out to Caitlin Clay if you're interested in helping. Dove Creek holes 10, 17, and 18 are complete. Work days are tentatively being held on Sundays. Follow the Facebook page for more info. All the signs at CPS are installed. Stephen P. Wallace needs some annual grass brush maintenance. Reach out to Jay Malloy if you want to help. And Stony Kill Hole 2 T-pad work is coming soon. Keep an eye out for the work day. Thank you to those who have volunteered to mow lately. Who mows at Stony Kill?
Good chunk of the time it's Gene, but lately Kevin Gordon has been out there doing it. I believe Tyler Lagerwall also was out there doing a bunch of mowing. I think those were the big recent names, but I'm sure I'm missing people.
All right. Corey, what happened at J-Dub's Points Championship Week 14?
Week 14, we played J27. It brought 14 people out. A couple people showed up late because they didn't realize that we were starting early to get those holes in.
Did anybody show up that doesn't normally show up, like your partner?
Oh, Tim Goyette showed up. Yeah. And then we got matched together. There was one other guy, Tim Stucci. Yeah, so myself and Tim were able to go 14 down in the 27-hole layout and hit the birdie bank. It was a cool day that day, but it's going to be hot as shit for week 15. So there's potential it gets canceled, but
What's the layout if it doesn't?
we're going to keep it short and sweet and play J West 18.
All right. What about CTK Handicap League, Jaimen?
I do not remember, and UDisc is a pain in the ass. So
Bobby Hallam.
Bobby Hallam won. Okay, so yeah, Bobby won. I do remember that now. I don't remember who took second. I want to say it wasn't Joe Pulsoni because he wasn't there. I have no idea. And third place was Todd Lawrence. I do remember that.
All right.
But
Alex, did you play Stony Kill this week? Week 13?
If you can call what I did playing. I had a little bit of a disappointing round, shot -4. Eric Fitz and Joe Jelly, classic Stony Killers, they're most weeks, shot 12 down to win it.
Heck yeah. What about Regeneron Wednesday dubs, Randy?
We had 4 people show up, and once again, I kind of shredded that course, which was awesome, but
What course?
it was Prospect. Played with Justin Hickok, and we beat up on Chris Santo and Robbie Hendricks, but they communicated the entire time in movie quotes, which if you know anyone like that, it's kind of amazing. So shout out to them, yeah.
Heck yeah. Jess Lasasso won the Disc Beat Club on Thursday. They had 19 people show up. You guys got time for a quiz?
Let's do it.
Nick, you got time for a quiz?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So what we got? 2, 4, 6. Oh, we got a lot.
We got 7 answering questions.
I would actually volunteer to dip out and make it even. I'm sweating my balls off in this room right now.
Corey, you're not supposed to be burning wood this time of year.
It feels like I got the wood stove going with the freaking door shut. It's so hot in here.
I mean, because we could figure it out.
No, keep it even. I'll back out.
You sure?
Yeah, I got some stuff I can do before I...
Well, then why don't you make the teams?
We are going to do... Oh, this is easy, actually. Nick, Alex, and Jaimen versus Randy, Tim, and Evan. The bros versus the 3 non-bros.
Nice.
So Nick, Alex, and Jaimen.
To be clear, he is the pros as in the people who went to the bro.
Yeah.
You guys are in trouble.
You got anything before you go, Corey? Any words of wisdom?
Yeah, keep the rubber side down. Stay
I don't get
cool. Thanks, Pat.
Thank you, Corey. So, Nick, you know Disc or No Disc?
Yep, I've heard it numerous times. Familiar?
All right, so I've got 3 categories. What category would you like? Category 1, Category 2, or Category 3?
I assume
For your
this is
team.
Our team?
Yeah, Nick, Alex, and Jaimen.
Which one you guys want?
I don't care. Someone tell me.
Let's go 3.
I like it.
All right, question 1, Category 3. In disc golf, what specialized throw involves gripping the disc with the short, thick first digit of the human hand that is set lower and apart from the other 4, and opposable to them, on the inside rim and flipping it over the top, often resulting in a predictable flight path useful for specific shots? In disc golf, what specialized throw involves gripping the disc with the short, thick first digit of the human hand that is set lower and apart from the other 4 and opposable to them, on the inside rim and flipping it over the top, often resulting in a predictable flight path that is useful for specific shots?
I have a suspicion it may be the thumber.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yep.
You guys agree?
Summer.
Yep.
Is the thumber a disc?
I mean, it could be.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of it. I feel like that's really limiting a disc sales.
Yeah, I don't love it either.
I mean, they got the flick. They got the roller.
Yeah, because that's one of the like main 2 throws.
That's
Did
true.
they throw thumbers like in the 90s? Was that a thing?
Probably, but everything was really understable back then, so I feel like thumbers would be harder.
Yeah, it'd be kind of pointless. So I feel like then they wouldn't have a thumber disc named after that.
Yeah, I'm feeling no on this one, but I
like no.
can't say why.
Yeah, I have no problems with no, but honestly, it feels like a coin flip to me. So if you guys are feeling strongly, then let's go for it.
Yeah, let's go no.
You guys agree?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You are correct.
Good
Let's
call.
go.
Tim, Randy, and Evan, what category would you like?
2.
2.
Love it.
All right. Question 1, Category 2. What term is used to describe a projecting ornament where the ribs of a vaulted ceiling meet, or a nickname for Bruce Springsteen? What term is used to describe a projecting ornament where the ribs of a vaulted ceiling meet, or a nickname for Bruce Springsteen?
I know what Springsteen's nickname is.
Right, me too. I'm trying to contextualize it with the first half of the question.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me.
Right, Randy?
I'm going to be honest. They got a way easier question than we did.
100%.
Okay, was his nickname what was it? The boss? Is that his
Boss.
nickname?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good. At least I knew half of this.
Yeah,
And I think that's a disc.
it is a disc.
Oh, hey, yeah, no, like
Yeah.
it goes really far.
Supposedly.
I don't know the architectural part, but I like boss.
Is it
Me
Boston?
either. I've got nothing on the architecture part, so I think we just go with it.
All right.
You guys agree?
Yep.
Yes,
Is the boss a disc?
sure is.
I
think
I
so.
think that question was plenty easy. I think it just would have been easier if it was only like this last 6 words.
Yeah.
But then it's not, it doesn't make you think twice. It's like, oh
True.
yeah, I know that.
And my whole job is to make you guys think twice.
At least
Innobit
twice.
Champion Discs, August 26, 2008. All right, we're tied. Nick, Alex, and Jaimen, Category 2 or Category 3. Category 1 will be saved for a later date.
Nice. I'm thinking 3, boys. Keep it
Keep it rolling.
yeah.
Reasonable to me.
I'm good with it.
All right, question 2, Category 3. What single word refers to a strong, often curved piece of metal used to hang animal carcasses for processing and storage? It is also slang for a powerful, swinging punch, especially in boxing. What single word refers to a strong, often curved piece of metal used to hang animal carcasses for processing and storage? It is also slang for a powerful, swinging punch, especially in boxing. Jaimen's your go-to guy for meat stuff.
Yep.
I mean, it's something hook. It's
I
like
think it
a-
might just
it's
be
just
hook.
hook. The,
Just
it
hook.
says in the question, what singular word?
oh, perfect. It's hook then.
Can you be more specific?
Butcher's hook?
I
Meat
was
hook.
thinking like
Oh, meat hook.
right hook.
Meat
or
hook.
something. Meat hook. Yeah, that's fine.
Does the question not say singular word?
Meat hook is one word.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
You guys agree?
Yes.
Yeah.
It would have been better if I didn't use meat in my jibe on Jaimen. But is the meat hook a disc?
Maybe.
I like this one more. I feel like this is more in that lightning category.
Yeah, I could easily see somebody making a meat hook.
That makes sense, but you think he's trying to bait us?
Could be.
I mean, you start getting to the double and triple meta levels, you start driving yourself crazy.
Very true, very true. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good with yes, if you guys are.
Yes, works for me.
Cool.
You guys agree?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, no.
Dang it.
Shoot.
Got.
Tim, Randy, and Evan, what category? Category 2 or Category 3?
Tim, you pick.
Let's stay with 2.
Okay.
All right, question 2, Category 2. What nickname is used by the CBS television network based on its logo? What nickname is used by the CBS television network based on its logo?
I don't want to mess you guys up by saying the wrong channel, so I was hoping you'd have an idea.
You mean like channel number? What do you mean?
No, like the logo. Like I think I'm mixing up ABC and CBS, so I don't want to influence you.
No, that's all right. Go ahead.
Oh, well, is CBS the eyeball looking one, or
Yeah,
is...
yeah.
Oh,
it
okay,
is.
okay, good. It's not Peacock. Okay,
No, I just don't feel like I've heard it like referred to,
nope.
colloquially. So I'm thinking the I, or
I network, I logo. Oh no, it can't be logo.
Pat, can we hear it one more time?
What nickname is used by the CBS television network based on its logo?
I think it's because it's a network. I think it's got to be iNetwork, network of channels, and it's I. That's what I'm going with because they always talk about networks when they talk about TV channels and stuff like that, and it's an I logo. That's my logical thought.
Would you put
process.
that on a disc? Would you put iNetwork on a disc?
No, I wouldn't at all. But that's when you hear them talk about channels, don't they always talk about whether it's a network?
Yeah.
That's where my logic comes from.
But when Randy said Peacock, like that's just a one-word nickname for NBC.
Then
So
it's I. Like,
Yeah.
then,
yeah. I'm thinking more just I
I.
or
All right.
yeah.
All right. Yeah.
You guys good with that?
Yep.
Tim
What are you going
side.
with? Just to clarify.
Just the I.
Just I.
Is the I.
Hey.
Yeah, you guys are good. This is why we're a team. I.
Phonetically, it gives us at least one more option. I don't know.
I'm throwing my eye. It's not good. It's cool for like imagery, for like printing logos, but just like taking my eye out here, throwing my eye. It's not good.
But then there's like the whole storm side of things too, like the eye of the storm.
Ooh.
I like
Bad.
yes only because I think it could be more than one word, so it broadens the net that we're
You
casting.
got two options.
I don't know.
And the other thing too is like you had the whole hand eye from Dynamic,
Mm-hmm.
so that could play into something there too.
Randy, we've both
Yeah.
weighed in, and you get to decide.
We're gonna go yes. I think.
I agree. Let's do.
You
yes,
guys agree?
Randy. Good to
I
see
agree with
you.
Yeah.
Randy.
Storm Disc Golf, October 1st, 2018.
Stormy.
I thought that was a bowling ball company.
I thought I was a porn star, Stormy.
Whoa.
Jeez.
Nick, Alex, and Jaimen, category 2 or category 3?
Do we want to switch it up or keep it?
I feel like I'm happy going with 3. I haven't figured out 2's category yet.
Yeah, same.
I'm good with that.
Yep, 3, Pat.
All right, question 3, category 3. In golf, what is the term for a shot hit from the fairway or rough that is intended to land on the green, typically within putting distance of the hole? In golf, what is the term for a shot hit from the fairway or rough that is intended to land on the green, typically within putting distance of the hole?
So it's not the upshot because we just had the upshot.
Right.
It could be an approach.
Approach is what I was thinking if it wasn't that.
Yeah, I don't think there's any other slang or.
Yeah, because it's not necessarily a chip. It's not necessarily a flop shot or something.
Right, he
like
said
that.
from the fairway or from the rough.
I'm in the same boat. Like chip kind of makes sense, but I feel like chip would be.
Chip would have to be like a specific thing. Like you can have approach shots that aren't chips, or like you can hit it from the fairway towards the green without it being a chip.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep, I like that.
I like approach.
Approach.
You guys agree?
Yep.
Is the approach a disc?
Nice.
I feel like this one's gotta be.
I mean, everybody puts approach on their putt and approach discs.
I'm cool with yes.
I think we can argue the technicality because the Prodigy A series are all approach discs.
I like it.
Smart strat.
I am happy going yes.
I'm happy going yes, regardless of that semi-weaselly reason.
You guys agree?
Yep.
Disc Golf Association, January 1st, 1989. And whatever all those prodigies probably count to. We'll worry about that. All right. Tim, Randy, and Evan, category 2 or category 3?
Should we go to 3 since these have been so easy?
Yeah, I was thinking we
There's
game it a little.
no way this backfires.
Nope.
I know. The famous last words.
Definitely time to zig.
What part of Gothic architecture?
Yeah.
You guys want to switch to 3?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Question 4, category 3. What verb describes the action of standing or sitting with one leg on either side of something like a horse or a fence? What verb describes the action of standing or sitting with one leg on either side of something like a horse or a fence?
Straddle.
That was my guess.
I wanted to blurt it out after the first read through, so yeah.
You guys
We'll
agree?
call that pulling a Tim.
Yes.
Is the straddle a disc?
I don't love it.
No, I don't love it either. What about Lone Star, though, right?
What about Lone Star here?
I don't know. Apparently, for 5 minutes, that was my thing.
Yeah.
I mean, you're the one that wore the shirt. I didn't put
No,
the shirt
yeah,
on
you didn't put that on me.
No.
I don't love it. No, I don't. I still, despite Lone Star and whatever that means, I don't love it. I think it's because he said horse in the question.
Okay. I was like, where are you getting like Texas out of the word straddle? Let's go no.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm good with it.
You guys agree?
Yes.
You are correct. Halfway
Good
through, you guys are up 6-5. Nick, Alex, and Jaimen, category 2 or category 3?
Do we flip flop now to avoid the harder one, or
I think we take number 5, and if they leave number 6 for us, we switch.
I like that strat. That's
Okay.
a good one.
So you going category 3?
Yep.
All right. Question 5, category 3 in basketball. What kind of shot is characterized by a soft arcing release that allows the ball to gently drop into the basket over a taller defender, often used by smaller guards? In basketball, what kind of shot is characterized by a soft arching release that allows the ball to gently drop into the basket over a taller defender, often used by smaller guards?
The jump shot?
Jump shot or lob shot? Is that something? I know nothing about basketball. I'm going to throw that out there.
Yeah. So like a soft release makes me think more like a layup or something like that. But I don't know if you'd typically use a layup to get around a taller player.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. Definitely not my forte.
I mean, right off the bat, it sounded like a jump shot, but I don't know if you would be. I don't know how that correlates to disc golf.
Yeah,
Doesn't
I don't
necessarily
know.
need to.
True. There's really not many other. There's a layup. He's not talking about any kind of like 3-pointer or, he said skyhook last week.
Yeah, like that was my initial thought. Is it's like a hook shot or a sky hook is sort of a soft shot like that, but they just used it, so
Is it a fadeaway?
could be a fadeaway. Can I hear the question one more time?
Yeah, good call.
Your whole team can if they want.
No, just me.
Okay, that's fair. In basketball, what kind of shot is characterized by a soft arching release that allows the ball to gently drop into the basket over a taller defender, often used by smaller guards?
I think it might be a fadeaway.
I kind of like that. It feels like a soft shot. I don't know the height of the people throwing it, but
Well, because you step back in order to do a fadeaway, and if it's because the reason why you step back is because the guy's taller, so you use that for separation to make the shot.
Yeah,
that makes sense. I like it. Good
like
thinking.
it.
Cool.
Alex, what do people throw when you're defending them?
Whatever the fuck they want, because I'm crap at basketball.
Cool.
What are we going with?
Fadeaway.
Fadeaway.
Tim, Randy, and Evan, in basketball, what kind of shot is characterized by a soft arching release that allows the ball to gently drop into the basket over a taller defender, often used by smaller guards?
I liked jump shot when they said it.
I like the layup.
No.
No.
Layup is when you're under the rim and you just kind of kiss it off the glass.
I know what a layup is, but that's
Do
what
you?
makes sense.
I'm questioning that.
Okay, well, it does have an arc to it, and it is a disc golf term, so that's why I like it. Not more than a jump shot. But that's my logic. But
I don't love jump shot either
ooh,
because it's like a jump shot isn't inherently gentle or
right. You can have a jumper, and it doesn't need to be soft arcing. It can be whatever you're throwing it at. Where a layup does have an arc, and it's usually done by smaller guards.
but layups have nothing to do with like the height of the. Or do they?
Very true. It doesn't. You're right.
Because you just drive to the hoop.
Yeah, you drive and then you show.
I will admit I did not play basketball, nor do I watch it at all. So
You've never played basketball?
not that I've never played. I mean, I didn't play it as a child, like in an organized sense, growing up. You know what I mean? It wasn't something I was into because I'm not very tall.
What makes me feel layup outside of a disc golf term is because he says it's done by smaller guards. And that's usually they're driving and they're usually doing a layup to get over the guy who's in the post. That's why I thought it.
All right, you're convincing me more.
Okay.
I'm on board.
The only other word that pops in my head is an alley-oop, a pass. It's not a shot. It's just a pass, right?
It's a pass. Yeah. It's
Okay.
a dunk,
Then
so
never mind. Never mind.
layup.
I think we're going layup.
You guys agree?
Sure.
The alley-oop was whammo. No, it wasn't.
Oh.
We were looking for the floater.
Oh.
Destiny Dynamic Discs, January 1st, 1979. I might have been the only one alive when that disc came out. All right. That was a steal, though, for Tim, Randy, and Evan. What category? 2 or 3?
Do we take 6? That one kind of got us. So
we go to 2.
That's what I.
Yeah.
Okay, that's where I was. I just want to make.
Don't act like you're not rattled.
Oh, I'm shaking. All right, let's go 2, Pat.
All right. Question 3, category 2. Larry Wayne Jones, better known by what nickname, retired in 2012 after 20 seasons in Major League Baseball. Larry Wayne Jones, better known by what nickname, retired in 2012 after 20 seasons in Major League Baseball.
Does anyone know this?
I do, but I wasn't sure how to tell you that without having you make fun of me for it.
I wasn't going to make fun. I would have never done that, Evan. Not on the podcast.
And not when he's on your team.
Right.
You know my wife listens to this.
I would
Actually,
never.
she doesn't make it to the trivia because She's usually done running on the treadmill by then. The answer is Chipper.
That is correct. Kind of like, never mind.
You guys agree?
Yes.
Yep.
Is the chipper a disc?
I don't know. It's kind of neat.
I hate it.
Mm,
I don't love it, but I don't hate it.
It's a little too cutesy.
yeah, I don't love it.
I'm fine with going no because you're right. It doesn't sound great, but I'll, at the same time, I'd like if Pat says yes, I'm okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's go no.
Yeah.
It'll be the first no on this side, I think. All right. Yeah.
Good thought.
Let's go no.
Good thought. No.
You guys agree?
Yep.
You are correct. All right. 8-5. Nick, Alex, and Jaimen, category 2 or category 3. 4 questions left total.
We got 2, right?
Yeah, we got to stick with 2.
Yeah.
All right. Question 4, category 2. What was the nickname of the American lawman, cowboy, and scout, George Louis Rickard, who famously promoted boxing matches and founded the New York Rangers hockey team?
Oh.
What was the nickname of the American lawman, cowboy, and scout, George Louis Rickard, who famously promoted boxing matches and founded the New York Rangers hockey team?
I got nothing.
Crap. Yeah, mama.
I know Tim knows this one. This sounds like the sort of thing that Tim knows.
Yeah, I don't even understand the question. Hearing it again will not help. I don't know. I'm just like Knickerbocker. I'm thinking of names that are New York related, but I'm sure that the Rangers didn't start in New York anyways, so I don't know.
I think they did, but
Yeah, I think they were they one of the original 6? I don't know. Don't worry about it.
Yes.
All right, so boxing promoter, famously promoted boxing matches. Anything?
I feel like his name was like Whitey something, or I don't know.
Well, we're looking for a nickname. It was.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like a nickname of, I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, Whitey's as good as I got for anything else.
Yeah, I got nothing. Sorry.
Or should we try to like think of something disc golf related that's maybe, because the last, how about the categories? The last one was
We got boss, we got I, we got chipper.
Boss, I, and Chipper.
It might just be nicknames for people.
Yeah, I was thinking definitely, yeah. Maybe his nickname's like Blue or something like that.
I mean, that's a lawman type thing.
Right.
What was the nickname of the American lawman, cowboy, and scout, George Louis Rickard, who famously promoted boxing matches and founded the New York Rangers hockey team?
George
Lawman, cowboy, and scout.
Ricard. Yeah. I mean, I like something like Blue or something. I don't know.
That sounds good. That sounds like
A solid guess, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have nothing to gainsay that in any way. So let's go blue.
Cool.
You guys going with blue?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they do call him the blue shirt.
Yeah.
But
That's what I was
Tim,
thinking.
Randy, and Evan, what was the nickname of the American lawman, cowboy, and scout, George Louis Rickard, who famously promoted boxing matches and founded the New York Rangers hockey team?
Evan, do you know? Or Randy?
No clue. Nope.
No clue. Evan?
It doesn't ring any bells.
Tex.
Tex Ricard.
The Texas Ranger.
I think that's what it is.
It makes sense. Lawman, scout. I
love
like it.
Tex Pat.
You guys agree?
Yes.
Is the text a disc?
If that's not a Lone Star disc, I'll eat my hat.
I really don't think it is.
I don't think it is either.
Like, I super don't.
I don't know for a fact, but I don't think it is.
Said what I
Your
said.
hat was tasty.
Which hat are you gonna eat?
Yeah, what kind of hat are you wearing?
Yeah.
Probably my 35-year-old Mets hat that my dog chewed up.
Sounds sentimental, but
Oh, yeah.
all right.
No, this is the hill I'm going to die on. It probably isn't, but come
Okay.
on.
You know, all right, I'll let you have it. Randy, you good with that?
Well, we could go no, and then he could just like really rub it in if he's
That's
right.
true too, Ev. Which
you
would
know?
you rather have?
And then like we both win because we got the points.
right.
Or-
you want to go no, but then
Sounds like a win-win.
right. I think that let's go no, and then if you can just really rub it in our face. If
Yeah.
it is. But if it's not Lone Star, you can't say anything, even if you have yes.
All right, we're going no.
Yeah, we're going no.
Lone Star Discs, May 10th, 2024.
No.
That was a steal. Tim, Randy, and Evan, what category, 2 or 3?
We'll let the brain trust decide.
I can't believe that was Lone Star.
At least my hat's safe.
They need to do better advertising because I feel like I haven't heard of a bunch of their discs recently.
I think they've been listening to me on the show and they really they're getting after it now. I don't know. Whatever category you guys want. Let's stick with 2.
one more and 2, yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
stick with 2.
Question 5, category 2. What was the well-known nickname of NBA basketball player Glenn Robinson, who was the first overall pick in the 1994 NBA draft and played for the Milwaukee Bucks, Atlanta Hawks, and San Antonio Spurs? What was the well-known nickname of NBA basketball player Glenn Robinson, who was the first overall pick in the 1994 NBA Draft. Played for the Milwaukee Bucks, Atlanta Hawks, and San Antonio Spurs.
Again, basketball, not my thing.
I'm pretty sure it's Big Dog.
I have no idea. This is like a pretty popular era for basketball, and like I can't even think of
they
this
all
guy.
had a big nickname.
Yeah,
Number one pick in 94.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, 90. Yeah.
All right. I have no idea either, Tim. So if you like that.
The only reason I have this thought is because do you remember the Big Dog T-shirts?
Yes.
Yes.
I think it has something. I'm not 100% sure, but for
Were those
whatever
like
reason,
Kmart?
in my head, it was has something to do with what came from him or something like that. I don't know why, but that's the memory I have in my head from Big Dog T-shirt.
I love it.
Okay.
Big Dog.
Big Dog T-shirts.
You guys good?
Yeah.
Is the Big Dog a disc?
I'm not answering this anymore.
Evan,
Evan, it's all you.
No, that's not fair. Don't leave me alone just because
We accept.
You
we
know
accept
them
whatever
all.
You do. Yeah, you know it all.
No. I just thought anyway. I don't like it.
I don't like it either.
Perfect.
Okay, we'll go now.
Gateway Disc Sports, May 5th, 2015.
Huh.
Nick, Alex, and Jaimen, what category? 2 or 3?
Whichever one we think doesn't have ancient sports trivia in it.
I thought I knew that one, and then
Probably 3 then.
they nailed it,
I
so.
believe we are officially out of reach.
all right. So let's leave them with question 6 then, and take 2, I guess. Or are they both
6
question
either way.
6?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, they're both question 6.
I think we're more likely to get 3-6.
Yeah, I like that.
Yep.
All right. Category 3, question 6. What word can be used to describe a portion cut from a hole, a type of shot in golf or tennis, or a surgical incision? What word can be used to describe a portion cut from a hole, a type of shot in golf or tennis, or a surgical incision?
A slice.
Bullseye.
I don't know the whole part bit,
Bullseye.
but slice makes sense to me.
Like a whole, like WHOLE.
Oh, that makes more sense.
Okay,
Yeah, no,
so you
I'm
think it's
real-
slice?
Yeah, real confident with slice.
Let's do it. That is a shot in tennis. I like it.
You guys agree?
Yeah.
Is the slice a disc?
The splice is a disc, and it's one of my favorite discs.
Yeah.
I was thinking the same thing. I haven't thrown it, but
I mean, you think of it more in golf as like a slice being a bad shot, but I still feel like they'd want to avoid that association. So my
Yeah.
instinct would be no.
I feel
I would
like
think no, too.
like a slice would be like a hyzer. I like no. Yeah.
He's trying to trick us with the splice.
Probably.
You guys agree?
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, Micah Ortez shot a -9 at Port Jervis Disc Golf Club, a spring summer league. He wasn't throwing a lot of slices, but the slice is a disc.
Damn it. How do you know that?
Lightning Discs, December 31st, 1996.
Boy, oh boy.
Final question, Tim, Randy, and Evan. In Catherine Stockett's novel The Help, what is the nickname of Eugenia Phelan, the aspiring writer who decides to interview black maids in her town? In Catherine Stockett's novel The Help, what is the nickname of Eugenia Phelan, the aspiring writer who decides to interview black maids in her town?
I have no idea.
She had red hair in the movie. Probably a redheaded nickname, because that's, I feel like, how that goes. So, Scarlet.
Love it.
You guys agree?
Yes.
Yep.
Nick, Alex, and Jaimen, in Catherine Stockett's novel The Help, what is the nickname of Eugenia Phelan, the aspiring writer who decides to interview black maids in her town? In Catherine Stockett's novel The Help, what is the nickname of Eugenia Phelan, the aspiring writer who decides to interview black maids in her town?
Is it Skeeter?
I think that's right.
I love it.
You guys agree?
Yeah.
Is the Skeeter a disc?
It sure is.
Yeah,
It
I was going to say, I'm
is.
pretty sure it is.
End of a
Yep.
Champion Discs, July 8th, 2006.
Nice.
Made it look a little
10-8.
better.
Colonial Acres doubles, Chandler Harvey and Stephen Gaylord shot a -7. Prospect Park doubles, Safari Week 2, Joshua Lee and Robert Gersman shot a -7 as well. Saratoga Spa dubs, Week 11, Levi V and Aaron Holtby shot a -15. Robert Verlecki and Sean Kamore shot a -8 at Warwick Tuesday dubs. Craig Henniger and Josh Pallor shot a -9 at Kisco Tuesday dubs. Levi V and Dylan Marsing shot a -14 at Shen Creek Week 12. Peter Fitzsisti and Andrew Bailey shot a -10 at CPS Thursday dubs Week 10. John McDuff and Brandon Lockhart tied for first at Skyline Friday Handicap League. Matt Strickrod and Will Tyler shot a -14 at TGI FDR dubs. Peter Newland and Micah Ortez shot a -5 at Port Jervis Fun Day Friday doubles. Adam Nelson and Jay Malloy shot a -21 at SPW Dubs League.
That was 36 holes.
Okay, that makes sense. Cody Miller and Joseph Polsoni and Ethan W. and Jerapat K shot a -8, but Cody Miller and Joe won it. It was actually at Moreau, so it is officially Cranmore Dub League. Kevin Casdilla and Josh Winkler shot a -15 at Long Island Sunday Dubs. And there was a tie at Gunk's Monday Dubs. Billy Buckner and Michael Nicoli and Kieran McCarthy and Devin the Clerk, they all shot -9. So we got a bunch of birthdays this week. We got Joe Karen, David Koch, Nick Warren. When's your birthday, Nick?
29th on Sunday.
All right.
Yeah.
Is that Russ O'Toole, Joe Goyette, Tim Goyette? Tim, when's your birthday?
Tomorrow.
Woo. Oh, and the one I found, Gary Mason today. Who here has played with Gary Mason? Anybody?
I've talked to him a bunch.
Yeah, always a fun time, Gary. All right. Well, thank you, Tim, Evan, Randy, Alex, Jaimen, Nick, and Corey, and Jason for the rules question. And sweet up. Hudson.
Thanks, Pat.
Thanks, Pat.
Thanks, Matt.